and welcome back to my channel. So today I have another Sims 4 speed build for you, and this is actually for my Big Sister challenge that I do over on Twitch. Some of the episodes were edited and put on my main YouTube channel here. However, I've decided to not do that anymore, but the VODs will still be uploaded to my VOD channel, which is linked down below. And of course, I'm still streaming it over on Twitch, so if you want to come hang out with us, we would love to have you. And I honestly have fallen in love with this save file. Like, these sisters are amazing. I love them so much, and it is about time for them to get a new house. I'm so excited. So they actually just aged up to a young adult and a teen, and so I think it's time for something new. And we've decided that we wanted to keep them in Henford on Bagley, so we're actually on the 3 Cobblebottom Street, I believe is the lot that we are on. And actually we ended up in the save file, I am putting like a vet next door because our older sister Melanie wants to be a vet when she grows up. So that, I mean, I say when she grows up, she's a young adult now, so she'll be working on that career as well. But I wanted them to just have a new home, and they have 2 pets. They have a dog and a cat, so they needed a home that's big enough for all of them. Right now I feel like they're a little bit cramped, but this one is actually going to be really exciting because they get to move out from the middle of absolute nowhere. Right now they live at the top of the mountain in Henford on Bagley, and it is time for a change. It is very much time for a change and time for them to like be amongst other people. So I made this for them, and shocker, I went over budget. My goal budget was like 50,000. This ends up being around 78,000. So I went over a little bit, but that's okay. I really just I wanted the house to be the way I want it to be, if that makes sense. So hopefully we can get enough money to actually move. But anyways, this is up on the Sims 4 gallery if you do want to download it under my ID spicensprinkles. And there's nothing like super inherently like big sistery about it, other than like I made the rooms to fit the sisters that I have in my game. But of course you can download it and do whatever you want with it. I honestly really love how this came out. I used a lot of the new growing together stuff, and I ended up doing this in like 2 different building sessions. And they were like a week apart because honestly, by the time I got to the kitchen a little bit later on in the build, I was like, I don't know what I want to do anymore, and also I'm running out of budget. So I decided to stop and then come back to it a little bit later. And you can see I struggle a little bit here with kind of what I wanted, because I wanted to use this green. I knew I wanted to use that green color. It's just so pretty. And the doors and windows that had that green swatch also had that like really dark brown, and I just wasn't like super excited about that for this build. So it took me a long time to honestly figure out what I wanted to do for the windows, but I did cut out some of that because you didn't have to watch me do it the whole entire time. But I am really happy with the way this came out, and we put a ton of vegetation here, and I'm so excited about it. I do end up I didn't put a whole lot of pet stuff in here, to be honest. I ended up putting, which is kind of funny, I ended up putting a like toy box out in the side yard for the dog, but I didn't actually put any dog bowls in the build, I'm realizing. So if you download this, either you can get rid of the toy box or add in a food bowl if you would like to. I think part of it was I figured, you know, I would bring some of that stuff with me when I move them, so I didn't really think about having that in here. But this house is like totally complete in that like I included like computers and all of that kind of good stuff in here, although that's not necessarily probably what I'm going to have when I use it in my save, because that will save me a little bit of money. But I did want this to be just centered around the 2 of them and just like how I felt like they would live. And this honestly is a really nicely sized house, and honestly could really be used for any kind of family. I feel like there's a ton of room here, and I wanted to use a lot of the white accents we had here in the landscaping kind of to match the windows and doors and the roof trims we have. And I love this so much. I really do. Like, I actually am very much in love with this new expansion pack, like all the build items and stuff. And I tried not to use too many of them in the in the interior because I've been using them like a whole lot, and I was like, Rachel, you need to do something maybe a little bit different. But I am so excited. The side yard, I really end up just putting in a little bit of vegetation, actually a small fountain and 2 yoga mats. I do the yoga mats later because I hadn't decided what I wanted to put in the side yard yet. But then I decided a little bit later, since both of these sisters in my save file, both of them are very athletic and active, so I put those out there for them. And once they move in, like, I'm going to customize this a little bit more, but I did want it to be versatile for you to download and be able to use it however you see fit, and for it not to be too terribly specific to these 2 Sims, if that makes sense. So I'll do a lot of customizing when we move in. And you see I have the little thing open. So I was trying to keep track of my budget. I don't even know why I bothered. We all knew I wasn't going to stick to my budget. I mean, really, that's just a challenge for me in and of itself. Like, I need to do a build challenge where I have to stick to a budget. Like, that's what it's like for me when I build, because I just want to do all of the things and use all of the items. And I did want this really nice space out here because actually in my save file, I actually have the 2 graves of their parents, and I'm going to bring them with me and put them in the side yard over here, because I really do like having them like on the lot. They like come and visit us all of the time, which is good and bad, I feel like, because they kind of just come in the middle of the night and eat all of our food and break all of our appliances. But you know what? They are the parents, so we love them anyways. So they will be coming with us. And I wanted each of the sisters to have their own room. And I also ended up putting in a really spacious bathroom and a laundry room here. So part of the challenge I put forth on myself was to actually, right now they're living in like an, not off the grid, but like a more self-sufficient lot, in that like they have to do, I forgot what the trade is now, but they have to actually have all the ingredients for them to cook, if that makes sense. So like I can't just like cook, I have to have the items for it. And I also have it to where they do laundry, but they do it by like clothesline and like wash bucket right now. So I wanted them to upgrade to actually have an actual like laundry room with a washer and dryer, because I figured after doing a million loads of laundry, like Melanie deserves to have a washer and dryer. I'm really hoping that we don't burn down the house. Honestly, that actually is a fear of mine because we have no money. So if we burn the house down, like I don't know what we're gonna do. And actually, speaking of, I don't know if I actually put a smoke detector in here. I remember thinking about it, and then I don't think I actually did it. Oh no. Like literally I remember doing the living room and I was like, oh, I need to add one of those. And then I got totally distracted. But I am so excited with this room. Actually, I'm excited with all of these rooms. This is going to be the younger sister Holly's room, and she really likes the color pink. And so that's kind of what I wanted to draw in here, and then combining a couple of these curtains because I just thought that looked so cute, and I do that in a couple other places in this build because I just feel like it's super adorable, and using that pastel pop wallpaper. And I tried so many different beds to try to figure out what I felt like would fit in here and what would fit Holly's personality, and honestly I really loved that bed, and it brought in kind of that like warm color there on the comforter, and we just kind of pull that into the rest of the room. And at this point I was still trying to be on a budget, but don't worry, it's still plenty cluttered. I still use plenty of clutter. Like I cannot help myself. Like I really can't. And so adding in here a dresser and nightstand, and of course she has a mirror in here, and I think I end up putting like a chair over in the corner, and I believe I actually end up using the chair from Pastel Pop. I end up swapping it out because I don't know, I just wasn't feeling the look of that. I wanted it to be a little more interesting. I don't know. Like, I think I can't remember if I went the cow print or not, but it's just like a really cool looking chair that I thought was a little more like Holly. I feel like she's like a very bubbly kind of sim and like very social and all that kind of cool stuff. She's also very smart, and she graduated from high school early, which is so funny to me. So she's already in university. Like that was a whole thing. Like literally like 2 or 3 days after she became a teen, she graduated from high school, which is funny because you're supposed to have this challenge on like long lifespan. So she's gonna be a teen for like ever. Like, so I have a feeling we might have to just age her up, because at a certain point, like when she gets out of university, like I feel like she should probably be a young adult at that point. So we'll see once we get there, but I'm having so much fun with this save file and hanging out with everyone over on Twitch. Again, the link's down below if you want to come hang out with us. We would love to see you there. And we actually like had people from chat, and actually one particular person from my chat, to actually create a bachelor for our older sister, which is super exciting, and to create some new teens for Holly to hang out with. So it's a whole lot of fun. So if you want a chance to maybe put some Sims in this world and just chat with us, like I said, please be sure to come by. And so I tried to I didn't want to clutter this wall up too terribly much, but I did want it to have a lot of personality. And I struggled a little bit with what I wanted to do in this home, like in the main living spaces, because like I said, Holly is like this very bubbly, and like her favorite color is pink, and she's very social. And I feel like Melanie, the older sister, she's definitely more into like earthy tones, the greens, browns, and she's not, I feel like, quite as social and bubbly as Holly, and that may be because she is the older sister and having to take care of her younger sister, that kind of thing. So trying to blend their two personalities and styles together was a bit of a struggle for me, I'm not going to lie. And actually in this room, we're working on Melanie's room, and I struggled a lot with it. I found this bed and I was like, oh, this would be really pretty for Melanie, but I think I do actually end up swapping it out because it was causing me a whole lot of problems trying to figure out, you know, how I wanted this to look. I think I might actually end up using the growing together bed in this one. And I love how like I literally just took screenshots and I can't remember. Oh my goodness. Like it's only Tuesday when I'm recording this. Like the week is just beginning. I can't like be losing my mind already, but it seems to be happening. But again, just trying to really like, you know, channel Melanie's energy here, and also trying to keep in mind that at this point she has aged up to a young adult. She's no longer a teen, so I think that also led me to swap out her bed and make it a little more like sophisticated looking, because I feel like that's what she's entered at this point, is becoming more sophisticated. So I wanted to bring that in here for her as well. And I love this look so much better than the way it started. It really was such a struggle when I was decorating it. So like I said, by the time I ended up getting to the kitchen a little bit later, I was kind of creatively drained and I had to step away and come back. But I really am so happy with the way this came out. And I also decided just to not worry about the budget as much when I came back to the build. So that also was helpful. And like I said, I ended up doing the same kind of thing here where I combined two different curtains in this space because I did like the way that looked. And we do that in a couple other places in this build as well. And I end up like in the bathroom, I do end up giving them like a double sink. Now, obviously, I don't have to do that because I mean, you don't need two sinks in the bathroom, but I like the idea of it. And, you know, you could get rid of it because if I'm trying to save money, I should, but I liked it. I liked the way it looked, so I kept it that way. And the bathroom, as you can see, that's the bathroom right next door to Melanie's room. It is actually really large. It is so big, and I used a lot of the stuff from the new pack and in here in the laundry room. That is also a pretty large laundry room as well, but I think it looks really cute. I do end up making like a makeshift like counter space and then hanging up some clothes over the washer and dryer because I felt like that would be really appropriate. Like they do laundry and they hang it up there. I don't know, like to dry, like I personally do that, like stuff that, you know, should be hung dry, I end up hanging it in my laundry room. So I felt like this kind of was appropriate, and I tried to make like one of the chunks of clothing that pink and the other chunk like that green color to match the two of them. Again, you can obviously change all of these colors and furnishings to, you know, how you like it and how you want to play with it, but I just think like it was just so cute just thinking about them. And I actually did use them in the screenshots, so if you've seen either the videos on this YouTube channel, or if you've seen them on my other channel, or if you've been on Twitch, you've seen these like characters and you should be familiar with them. So I actually used them for these screenshots and it was just so cute. I loved it so much. And I will say that if you don't recognize some of their clothing, I do have a little bit of CC for that challenge, for that save file. So some of their clothing is CC. So in case you're wondering, yes, like that is not, some of that stuff's not necessarily in the game, but I just thought I'd go ahead and say that. And I don't have any CC like build items or anything like that. It's just their clothing. I just thought I would mention it. And since it's not my usual, I don't usually use CC, but like I couldn't help myself. I could not help myself for that save file. And again, like I said, using a lot of the new stuff from the Growing Together pack because honestly, I just thought it was so cute here. And then putting a little bit of clutter here on the counters. And I ended up putting that like messy drawer like that we got with the bathroom clutter kit right there. I just thought that would be so cute between the two of them, like having like just a bunch of stuff there on the counter. And then this is where, like I said, I started struggling a little bit like with how I wanted everything set up. I knew I wanted to use the new fireplace because it matched that like really pretty green color that we had outside. But then other than that, I just really wasn't sure. And I already like put wallpaper on that random room over there. This like floral wallpaper that is going to be their office space because I did want to give them lots of room to work. So Melanie being an up and coming professional, and you have Holly, who actually is, she's a very intelligent sim. She does like so many things. She has so many different skills, and she's just like, she loves learning, and that's just like who she is. So I try to give like lots of hobbies and lots of things for them to do, because that's just like how I see Melanie and Holly, is just having these things. So I gave them a really large office, probably a little larger than it needed to be, but you know what? I liked it anyways. And like I said, you could definitely transfer that into like another bedroom, something like that, if you want more space for other Sims. Like this ends up being a one bathroom, 2-bedroom, but you could easily make that much larger if you'd like to. And I struggled a little bit here, not going to lie. I knew I wanted to use the new appliances, but trying to find like the counter that matched, I cut a lot of that out as well, because it just took me a while to figure out. And wanting to include like a dining space here as well, like that became a whole thing. But I do really like the way it ended up turning out. Even though it took me a while to get there, I am happy with it. And I feel like that happens to me a lot, where it's just like, you have to trust me, I figure it out in the end. I feel like it ends up looking really cute. They end up having this really lovely counter. And then I actually end up making like a double wide counter, like island area, and then we take the dining table and kind of put it up against that. So it's not, we don't have seating all the way around it, because I was figuring out that it became kind of difficult, like having seating all the way around there and really having room to get around. And there is only 2 of them. And even when they have friends over, this one, like this home is a lot bigger than their other one. So we do actually have like their friends over a lot, and their current house is much smaller, especially since it's a 2-story, that like the first floor is just a lot smaller. And so like having like 8 of their friends over and stuff, like it becomes really chaotic, but it's actually a lot of fun. And I decided to swap out the dining table, so it was actually like a taller table, so that it met up with the counters in the kitchen, because I felt like that made it look a little more fluid in there. And I loved bringing in that little bit of yellow, so that was a little bit like of Melanie, like those warmer earthy tones, but also it's a little bit brighter pastel like for Holly, and I thought that just like was really nice. I do end up actually swapping out the curtain on that smaller curtain for the curtain from Growing Together, because I just felt like it was a lot to have on that one window, like that big curtain, if that makes sense. And this is actually a really large living space. I did struggle a little bit with this, but I am really happy with the way it turned out. I did end up doing something a little bit interesting when it came to like where I'm putting the TV, because I ended up actually putting it to the left of the fireplace instead of over the fireplace where I typically put it. And I end up putting like the Desert Luxe like cement block things. I end up putting some of those over there, and I like intersect that with a marble like side table, and it actually ends up looking really neat, and I feel like it looks really cool in here. And then I end up using the lovely cottage living couch that had that nice green swatch, and then the rocking chair. I love that rocking chair so much from Growing Together. It looks so comfy to me that I really wanted to include it there. And again, this is just a lot of space. I figured for them to have people over and have company over, and they have like holiday dinners and all of that kind of fun stuff. And this is that random thing that I built for the TV, which is so funny to me. And like, of course, for my build, I end up taking the TV out like for my own personal save file, because I have already put it in my game because it was too expensive. So poor Melanie and Holly are gonna have to deal with that. And I was trying to do like a collage thing over the fireplace, but I ended up taking all of that out because I just really didn't like the way it looked, and swap it out for a cottage living like photo instead. And then creating this really like interesting looking built-in with these really cute bookcases. I forgot the word bookcases all of a sudden that we got with Growing Together. I just thought that looked so cute over here. And again, because Holly and Melanie are very like intelligent and very into learning, I figured, you know, they would have a lot of books in their home, if that makes sense. And it took me, I don't know why, it just took me a while to actually decorate this space. Again, just really trying to like figure out what they would have in their home while making it versatile for you all to download and it not being like really specific to my big sister challenge. And of course, using that new plant that we got with Growing Together, I can't help myself. I feel like I use it all the time. Like it's going to happen. I'm going to use it a lot. It's just so nice. And then I end up just putting a little bit of clutter over on the side there, and then just a little bit of clutter there on the fireplace. I do end up putting, I believe, a sculpture for a cat and a dog up there, since we do have a cat and dog in this save file. And again, like I just think it's funny, I didn't put anything in here for a cat and a dog except for the dog like toy chest outside. So if you do want to use them, you're gonna have to add that stuff in here. I don't know, I guess I was expecting, like, when I moved them in, I was going to use that stuff, and then I think I forgot, so then I put in the dog toy thing in there. But anyways, that's an easy fix if you would like to alter that or add stuff in there. But it's just kind of funny to me that I like forgot what I decided. But that's okay. That's okay. That's stuff that we will move in when we get here in my save file. And then I just put that Desert Luxe, like, I don't know what that is. To me, it looks like a bookcase, but it is not sorted as such. It's just like a table thing. So I end up putting that over here because I just felt like it looked really nice here. And then including that really cute little owl, like, family looking sculpture thing over here. I just thought that looked really cute. And then I did put in a little coffee bar here because, I don't know, I figured maybe they were getting into coffee. I don't know. I just like the idea of having a coffee bar, I think. And again, that is something that's not necessary. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could delete that like if I wanted to save money, but I really liked it. And sorry if you heard that, I just like clap my hands together, because actually when I do these voiceover, like, I know you can't see me, but I'm actually very animated when I do this. Like, my hands are like doing things, like, apparently I guess I talk with my hands a lot. So a little insight into what it's like when I do these voiceovers. I'm just like talking with my hands and like alone in my office. So it's kind of funny, but I just like clap my hands together. So hopefully that wasn't too loud and wasn't too distracting. But again, adding some clutter here in the kitchen because I cannot help myself. And we do end up putting in a fruit bowl over there on the counter. And in case, like, I know I mentioned this, but like, I did that for my mom. She really likes having fruit bowls in all of my sim builds, so I made sure to include those as well. And I will probably end up adding some gardening space when I put it in my save file, because that's something that Melanie does, but I haven't completely decided yet. So obviously you can add that stuff in there if you would like to. And then that was me just swapping out those because I felt like that just made a whole lot more sense. And then when I was over here, I realized like it was a little empty and I didn't put end tables here, which I felt like it really needed. So we do end up putting some end tables there. And I thought about putting another chair, but I was like, nah, I don't think we need one, especially it's just the two of them. And like, if the friends come over, there's plenty of space. They'll figure it out. It'll be just fine. So then adding just in a little bit of clutter here. And then for our kind of last room here, working on their office, I do end up giving each of them their own desk. And I do end up putting like a chess table in here. And I try to make each of the desks like match their own style, if that makes sense. So Melanie's have got the earth tone and the greens, while Holly's got like the pink, cute pastel, like high school years items, and then including a chess table in here. And it was kind of funny. So Holly really likes playing chess, and in their house they have right now, not long after they moved in, so it's out on the porch at their current home, and when there was a storm not long after we moved in, it got hit by lightning, and we didn't have a chess table for a really, really, really long time because we couldn't afford another one, which I was like, you can't be serious. Like, Holly actually really likes to do that. And we actually got one for Christmas. So that was really funny. Or I guess technically Winterfest. We got one for Winterfest from Father Winter. And so I was like, we can finally have a chess table. But anyways, now it is inside and it cannot be struck by lightning. So I am really excited about that. But putting these lovely bookcases that we got Growing Together in here. And then I do end up adding like some rugs and cozy bits in this like space. And I was trying to make it look cohesive without it looking like literally just a bunch of stuff thrown in here, which is kind of what's happening because it is a space for them to do all of their skill building and, you know, their own like work that they need to do, since Holly's going to have like schoolwork for university and Melanie's gonna have stuff to do for her job. So anyways, I tried to make sure like it didn't look too chaotic, that it did look like it went together. And I do include a violin here because Holly is also into playing the violin, and just like some cozy places for them to sit or read, or like, you know, sometimes Melanie will watch Holly like play the violin, like things like that. So just again, like just kind of creating little spaces for the two of them so they have their own personal spaces in this build, and so it really looks like their personalities. And I feel like Holly would have a lot of books and just a lot of things, so I try to make sure her space was a little bit more cluttered. Like that's just what I imagined for her. And like I said, just adding in some cozy like places in here, which I think is super adorable. And then I think we end up adding, oh, I already did the yoga mats. I was like, I still need to add those, like, because I hadn't added it, but I already did. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, I can't believe it's only Tuesday. Like my brain is already starting to like go. I mean, it's already like the week's over. We need to just stop now. But anyways, so like I said, if you want to check out this, oh my goodness, what am I saying? The Big Sister Challenge. Come visit us over on Twitch. We would love to have you. Oh my goodness, seriously, y'all, my brain today. I don't know. Has anybody else had days like that? Like I'm just like totally like, I don't know. I don't even remember what I'm saying anymore. So just adding terrain paint that the game had deleted between the last time and this time when I was building. But anyways, if you enjoyed this, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I hope you have a really sweet day. Bye, everybody.